If you're here, consider yourself an early investor in my channel, my creation. Let me say a little bit more about that. I have a little laughter in my voice. It's not because I'm not serious about what I said. It's it's because there's a whole lot that's going on, and I'll get into that in a moment. But I'm paying attention to who is here early in my channel. And the reason why I say you're an investor is oftentimes we think of money, right? Money is a resource. Our time and energy is another resource, and we often overlook this. This is a time of a lot of information, training. It's a really great time to be alive, even though there's a lot of fuckery going on. It's consider that you and I have contracted and on a soul level to be here during this time. All right. Now, you could be here doing a number of different things, but I'm talking about, even though you could be doing a number of different things, does not mean that you weren't contracted or you didn't contract to be here. It's what you do with it. So I want to go back to that investor part. Your time and your energy, the time that you are giving me watching the things that I'm saying, I'm very early on in my studio work. I'm not even calling it a channel, like a YouTube channel. I'm early in my studio work, and like a couple of months. Now, I have had a lot of live videos on Facebook, and I did not have the time to pull those videos down before they were like, hey, boo, you want your videos? You better come get them. I had a death in my family at the time, and I started downloading some of the videos, and I was just exhausted. And that's what grief does. It zaps your energy. And if you want me to talk a little bit more about grief, let me know, because I can definitely go into some of that as well. But at any rate, I thank you for your time and your energy, because that is an investment that has a monetary value. Now, in the world that we're currently in, we need more than shroot bucks. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean about shroot bucks. But we definitely need more than shroot bucks in a certain way. Okay? Bartering is another way. There's an exchange of energy. There's so many different ways of giving resources. Okay, so that's what I mean by thank you for investing in my channel, in my studio early on, and I'm going to pay attention to that. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'll definitely will pay attention to that. Okay. So this week, this is the first week of March 2026. We are between the eclipse season. We had the solar eclipse on February 17th in Aquarius. And then we just, on March 3rd, had, which is a few days ago, right? Okay, I'm looking at my calendar. Even though I have my glasses on, I can't see. But we had the lunar eclipse in Virgo, conjuncting the South Node in Virgo. Okay, if you don't follow astrology and that's all gobbledygook, it's okay. This is just to say that this is eclipse season, and we just have been between these two eclipses. So the Aquarius and the Virgo. And we also are in what's called Mercury retrograde. My previous video, which included the Virgo lunar eclipse and releasing. Eclipse is about releasing and letting go, and some of that could be letting go of the perfection. Let me stop. What is this perfection, and what has it been about? The perfection has been about operating in a society, in a world that organized thoughts, principles, ideologies, ways of living. And what we're currently seeing is all that shit is dissolving. I'm thinking of The Wiz with the actress Mabel Keane getting flushed down the toilet, right? If you know The Wiz, you know what I'm talking about. But this is dissolving. So what is this perfection, or the so-called perfection? And I think that, for sure, Virgo has gotten the rap. And I think I might even link in Cheney Nicholas, where she talks about this eclipse. And it's something that she said in that video that got me thinking about Virgo. Virgo sometimes would get it from me, because I would lean into the low road of Virgo, and we all have Virgo in our chart somewhere. So I want to say that, starting with the bad news. I'm not doing this to dig on Virgo sun signs or rising signs, so don't come for me, because I have a lot of Virgo elements and energy, and as I said, we all do, but I see it, and when I recorded that video, there was this perfectionism. Map onto your life and anything that makes sense, because I am making a point. So not only did I decide, like, okay, I need to take my thoughts and have them processed and put it in a teleprompter, because I want to make this succinct and be mindful of your investment, because you're investing your time watching me, and I want to be able to deliver something, but I want to be able to deliver it in a way, and that way has been really cleansed. Now, I didn't start my early videos off like that. I started my videos off like this, the way I'm doing it now, which is I have a thought, I have a process, and I have something I want to deliver, and I'm allowing myself to seemingly go all over the place. In this Western culture, in a particular culture of like, hurry up, don't have time, let's get to the point, survival of the fittest, me versus you, it's a dog-eat-dog world. All of it is bullshit. It always has been. As a whole, that doesn't work culturally. How do I know this? Look outside your window. Look outside the world that we currently live in. I'm not going to list out the geopolitical or the things that are happening now, because you're already inundated by it. I'm just simply saying it so that you know, that I know, that we know what the hell it is that I'm talking about. And even as I watch the timer go down, and I'm like, oh my God, it's 12 minutes. Is someone going to watch this? Well, I'm going to let that go, because I was never designed to do it the way it's supposed to be done. That is not the world that I came here for. That is not the world I'm going to assert that you didn't come here for. Now, I think I'm mostly talking to my generation, my Gen Xers. I have this hypothesis. I have this thought. And it's not cooked up. It's not well thought. It's just a hypothesis, and I haven't done anything concrete in a concentrated time. In other words, I've not gone to sit my butt down and do some research for hours on it. But I keep seeing like Gen Z little videos, kind of ding, 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 poking at Gen X. And this is not even a reaction to that. But for me, it sounds like people are asking for us to come online. What do I mean by that? What I mean is they're asking us to be present, not necessarily online, but be present in the world, because we have a wisdom. And there has been a wounding that I am clear that we have gotten clear about. And this is the time to not lead through the wounding. It is possible and necessary for certain wounds to be healed. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to naturally do that, but I know that my generation has people who have done the internal work. And now I think we're all abundantly clear that work is done. I talk about neuroscience, and I'm going to do a video about this, but it's like the way things fire together, wire together. So for example, if you're like, I'm healing. So let's say it's part of the brain, and I'm going to do a video about this, and I do have a prop to show this because I'm a very visual. But let's say neurons are firing together over here, and in the brain it's like, yeah, I'm healing that thing and that trauma. And you know what? And we grew up during a time where crack, and you know what? And my uncle and my aunt and my whatever, and this person in my family turned into a crack addict, and that really broke their family in half. And then, this is and Nancy Reagan did the videos and your egg and the blah, 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 blah. And we had the key, and we were the latchkey kids and did it. Okay. So there's a particular kind of wiring that happens in the brain and things, and then there becomes like belief that becomes subconscious, because now you don't need all of that going on. It just now is like solid, like this is how it is. Okay. And I would also assert that over the years we did work, we did inner work on healing. I have invested thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars and hours of my time doing inner healing. And so, healed, done. Now, triggers can happen, but I work on that too, so that when something triggers, I'm like, on it. Oh, now it gets to a point where something that triggered maybe 2 years ago, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cute. So I'm talking to my generation who's done that inner healing, who's done the work, and when those neurons kind of fire together, sometimes we could just, and plus habits and patterns, we could just be on that path of like, okay, I'm going to do another workshop on healing. Oh, I'm going to do another inner work because I want to make sure, because we are the Chiron in Aries. So I got to go off memory because I have it written down. So Chiron is a wounded healer in astrology. And so in the Gen X generation from 1965 to 1980, there's 3 years was in one sign, 9 years was in another zodiac sign, and then 3 years was in a different sign. So I call it the 3-9-3. The 9 years, and they retrograded, so they moved back. So you actually need to look up your time and birth to see exactly where it was at. But for the 9 years, Chiron was in Aries. And Aries is about It rules the first house of I am. So the nature of who you are or allow yourself to be got wounded during this era. And then the tail end of kind of like going to like the 80s, it was in Taurus, right? So value and worth, wounded. And oh God, I just went blank. Pisces. It came in the 60s in Pisces. Okay, so those three energies is where the Gen X, and sometimes people who are Zennials, right? So they're between Millennial and Gen X, are in that category, especially the 80s. And like I said, Chiron retrograde, so it means it moves backwards. So it and imagine a zigzag, right? So when things retrograde, just kind of imagine a zigzag point. And I like to also say cha-cha dance. So it's like, so it's like cha-cha-cha, forward and backward into these signs. And Pisces reminds me of the it is the age of kind of like where religion and religious wars were born. And so collectively, we're these three generations about religion, I am who I am, and then value and worth. And to me, that sets the tone of what the hell we're experiencing now, right? So if we look at our generation, so if we look at the Gen X and we kind of come together and like Voltron and see how, or Transformers, not Transformers, Voltron. So it's like, I'm the leg, arm, put it together in the body, and we have this 5 individuals now. We're this one mega fighting machine. Very generational, right? So that's my hypothesis, is kind of like there's something that's being asked of us, some a different kind of work. And that's why on my channel, a lot of my videos are talking about relationships, but relationships are simply the vehicle, because really who I'm interested is you. I have a lot of energy in the first house of I am. And I've had and I'm part of the 9-year cycle of Chiron and Aries that got wounded. And this has been our return, right? Because Chiron is still currently in Aries, and it's about to move into Taurus. And so the Zennials and the ones who are youngest in the Gen X era, they are about to get their Chiron return, which means when something returns, you start to deal with the theme of it being revisited upon you. Okay, now this is going way longer than I wanted it to, and most importantly, I'm losing sunlight, so I'm going to end it there. But I do want to hear from you as my early investors of investing your energy. Please tell me what resonated. Please tell me if there's something that you want me to delve a little deeper in. I do want to let you know that the intention of the work that I do is, when this is basically and ultimately the bigger picture is shit's dissolving in terms of how we've seen life go, and it hasn't worked for everybody, and it's not working, and it's going to be real uncomfortable as that proverbial toilet flushes. Insert the scene from The Wiz. It's going to be real uncomfortable, or it can be real uncomfortable. And Who are you? Who are you really when the machine that told us how to live, who you are, to corral us? And as we're moving into this age of individualism inside of a collective, who are you really? And there are esoteric tools. It's not even tools. It's a esoteric art and divination art and so many other things that's been counter to the machine that has doled out, and I'm just going to say machine that's doled us out like, this is what you do, you know the thing, you know the script. And now we're going off script because the toilet is flushing. You have to really figure out, who are you and what's important to you and what's your soul's work and what's your purpose for being here. And you want to do that kind of work because that's the place where you're going to find your power, your groundedness, your capacity to be able to move forward in this life whole and complete, where you're not going to be a nutty buddy. And so I use relationships as a relationship technology as the vehicle to get us all packed into the school bus. I can't believe I'm using this analogy. The yellow school bus, so that we can go on to our prospective journeys as individual, with our individual gifts inside of a collective, because that's how it is going in this new age. If you watched this far, I don't know, I might have links in the bottom. I've been changing things around. May have something that that will go a little deeper, but at best, subscribe and like, comment, because I want to hear from you, my early investors. And until then, I will see you in the next video. Mwah! Be well, be brave, be fucking fantabulous. Ciao for now.